battery die maybe.
Introduce Woofer.
Welcome everyone to the
Hello,
Somnium
everybody.
Show.
Okay. Are we rolling, Frank? Are we
Yeah,
rolling? Okay.
we are rolling.
Welcome, everybody, to the WooferBlast Show. And UltraLord and I are going to present some ideas, and we're going to discuss space exploration, and all the things that go along with that. Maybe some UFOs, maybe some Project Bluebeam stuff, and whatever we can think of that goes along with the idea of space and space exploration and the creation of the universe and some things like that. So come on down right now.
Yeah, welcome everyone to the
now.
Somnium Show
and
with
bring Oli with
WooferBlast
you.
and UltraLord and the wonderful people of cyberspace. We're going to be talking about some many fantastical, philosophical, and interesting things. Is there really life out there on other worlds? WooferBlast, what do you think? Are we really alone in the universe?
Well, here's what I was going to say. When you were talking before, it really got me going. I had this theory. It's not, I don't know if I believe it myself, but it explains some things. You know, back in biblical days, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, somebody had the job to explain these very complex principles to very simple people who were just, you know, goat farmers or fishermen or carpenters, and he had some really complicated things to explain to them. So what Jesus did, and other prophets probably, is explain things to people in simple stories, little parables, you know, so they could understand better these complex ideas. And I think most people know the story of Adam and Eve, right? How Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and Eve picked this apple. It was forbidden fruit, and she ate the forbidden fruit, and it caused them to be cast out of the Garden of Eden. Well, I think these were all representations of more complex things. I think Adam and Eve represented a whole race of people, a whole civilization possibly. And the forbidden fruit and their being cast out of the garden was actually these people, they did something so terrible, so horrible, that it caused them to be banished from this planet. And they were banished from wherever it was to here. So we're the aliens. Got it so far? So we're the aliens. We were horrible, horrible people that couldn't enjoy the fruits of the Garden of Eden. So we were cast out, and we ended up here on planet Earth.
But why Earth?
And I think maybe...
I mean, Earth is like a paradise.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe so we'd have a chance to redeem ourselves.
Who decides?
But I think whoever's collecting rent. I don't know, you know. but anyway, okay, we started out as these horrible people, but we've been given a chance, and we try to be good people. We try to do good things. We try to improve things, but in our inner workings, in our genetics somewhere, we're still those horrible people. And so we're fighting this every day. We're fighting ourselves. We're fighting each other. We're trying to do the right thing. And I think that's what's going on. That's why we have all these troubles in the world, because it's in our nature, sort of. But we're fighting that nature. We're trying to be better. And I think that's why we look up at the sky so often, because we're thinking in the back of our minds, well, maybe they'll be coming for us. Maybe there'll be another civilization cast out, and they'll come down to replace us. So we have to watch out. Have to watch the skies for that. That's
crazy.
That's my
man.
weird idea.
That's a
yeah,
very
it is
interesting
crazy
idea. I want to sort of circle back to
So
that.
we are the aliens, you know.
Thank you for sharing.
We're all,
Thank you for sharing. And
Okay.
let's ask the wonderful, intelligent, and wise Oli. What do you think, Oli? Are we the only
Something a
ones
little
out
bit
there?
down to
Is
earth,
it just
probably.
us, or do you want to believe?
I don't know. I think that's the best answer I can give.
But I mean, like, if you had like a scale, where would you lean on more? You know what I mean? Do you think it's
think-
just human beings, or do you think there's other Like, do you think there's aliens? Do you think there's life out there?
In
Do
the
you
whole
think they're visiting
universe,
us?
I feel like it's likely. I don't know about them visiting us, but there's definitely a probability.
I
And I
mean,
think the probability that we're alone in the universe is pretty low.
but what if the distances are so vast and so great, it becomes like we're like I kind of think that like thinking that there's life out there and there are aliens, it's kind of reassuring. But like if you think like what if
Mm.
it's just us and we're like the only and the entire universe is empty, devoid of like anything except us. That's
Mhm.
at the same time it feels kind of scary, but if it's just us, that means the entire universe is ours for the taking, right? So
Mhm.
So yeah, what do you
Yeah, I
think of
guess.
that? Like, do you think?
I think either option is scary, being alone, but also potentially being invaded. You know, those are all very unknown possible risks,
So do you think we're
right?
being invaded right now? I mean, with everything going on in the news, with the UFOs, and like, is an alien invasion like on
No,
the horizon?
no, I don't think so. I
No.
mean, I think it's very possible, but I don't think it's happening right now.
Thank God. Oh,
But you
really?
never know.
Yeah, I
The
mean, they
day
could
can
be
change a lot.
watching our Earth with envious eyes. We're just
That's all we
waiting for
need,
the
right?
chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Oli. Thank you
Mm.
for sharing. We'll circle back to that interesting thought. How about you, Arthur? What do you think? Do you think it's just us, or do you think there's
I don't
life
think
out
it's
there?
just us. I definitely think we're not alone in the whole universe. As Ollie said, probabilistically, it's just impossible. Um, the chances that we are alone is close to zero. But I do admit that there is a high probability of the fact that we not only can be so far away from each other, but because the time is a very irrelevant thing in terms of like the space. So what could have happened is that some civilizations they could have existed before us, but they're already not existing anymore. So we kind of missed each other in this vast time space, you know.
Wow.
So some of them are not yet smart enough, and some of them are not existent. So the probability of us being alone in the universe is close to zero. Yet the probability of us being or meeting or being able to have, or I would say differently, the probability of someone be on the same level or higher than us and still exist in parallel with us is actually much lower than that. And then of course you have the distance, you have everything, and then suddenly, but that's one thing. That's just probabilities. But in do I believe that we Earth have been visited by aliens already? Yes. Um,
Really?
I just think, yeah, I just think it's the evidence of, because as we all know, especially recently, it's very true. Every conspiracy theory, or not every, majority of conspiracy theories are becoming true
Yeah.
eventually. So
Yeah.
so if I look at like where's the smoke, there is a fire. If I look at the things around and I just see like what has been found and what people have been saying and what governments have been doing, like it's just very probable that there have been some things which we humans were not able to explain on Earth, and there have been some technologies with some people which some people saw, and they were not able to explain that. I totally believe that that's probably true. Like I can I don't think it's like for sure, but I think it's very probable that something like that happened. Wow, if that's true, then it kind of changes a lot of things, right? But while it can be true, it also can be true that we, even if we possess an alien ship with some alien bodies, we might not be able to know where they're coming from, or we might not even be able to reach them anymore because maybe this civilization already doesn't exist, or there's no way to, you know what I mean? So it could be, the space is huge, everything is possible, but I definitely believe we're not alone. Like it just can't be for us to be alone.
Do you think the aliens look like human beings? I was thinking about this the other day. Like, do you know how there's like this like
Definitely like in the movie. No, no, no,
pattern,
definitely like in
like
the
the
movies. The
Fibonacci
reason
and
why all the movies are trying to prepare us for something. Like we saw it. Every movie is just becoming true. And like if every
predictive
freaking
programming.
movie for some reason tells you that they're like a smaller greenish man with the bigger eyes and like a plain skin and stuff like that, if they all portray them very similarly, I guess there's a reason for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you
It's a
look at the
classic
science fiction
design.
movies, it's in science fiction movies, like majority of science fiction movies are becoming reality eventually.
Do you think
Even the books.
they're like doing that on purpose? I mean, like there's this idea
Could be. It
predictive
actually could be. It actually
programming,
could be. But it
you
also
know?
could be that we just instinctively, because our brain is actually the best PC in the world. Like we have, it's the best analytics machine. So our gut feelings, or our, the artists who are drawing those guys and who are drawing those aliens and those, After Effects people who are trying to make them, maybe subconsciously they kind of like answering the question of how would they look like if there would be stuff, and maybe we are subconsciously answering the question correctly. Like maybe that's the case. Maybe that's how they will look in the end,
Yeah.
because we all kind of decided as the human
No
species
way.
that that's the most probable look of those aliens if they would come, because of
Can
many
I add
reasons,
to
right?
that?
So,
Yeah, please,
yeah,
Ollie.
sure.
Sure.
Um, I know they did like some studies on like DMT, like with people being monitored, and they all saw like similar beings, that
Hmm.
kind of looked like that,
Yeah.
and they called them machine elves. And so, yeah, there is a part of our brain that definitely sees
Hmm.
those things,
Yeah, you make me
and
think.
if
Absolutely.
all of our brains see it, like, is it a memory? Is it just a different frequency and dimension we're able to tap into, and they can navigate much easier than we can, you know? It's
Yeah.
interesting.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
it is. It
Maybe
is
that.
super
have
interesting.
have you guys like there's this idea that like if you look at the way atoms work and stuff, it's like imagine if like everything is just one giant electron where like do you under like phasing in and out of existence. Like imagine every single particle is the same one, but it only exists when you kind of observe it. So instead of reality being this like bunch of like little clumps of stuff, it's more like static with the same thing like appearing and disappearing out of existence, where it's just one electron, one particle, and it
Some
just changes
some
based
people.
on our observation of it. So like I have this idea like like what if human beings are like written into the fabric of reality? What if like if you go to another planet, you'll find human beings just like us, and they just evolved the same way that we evolved, and the probability of it happening is really
Like
high.
the same people too, like
Like
personalities and stuff.
exactly just like us, like human beings, like you
Like
know
another
like
Ultralord.
not well. There's only one Ultralord. I mean, like just as there's only one Oli, one
Oh,
Arter,
really?
one
Oh, you see? Suddenly
WooferBlast.
he's selfish as hell. Like, oh, there's
There can
lots
be
of
only
people.
one.
Everybody's great.
There's
But
not
There's
room enough
only
in the
one
universe
me.
for another Ultralord.
exactly. Can you imagine? Like this whole universe, man. There's maybe 10 other ultralords. Come on, man.
There must, for every world
I've thought that.
there is one. So yeah, that's kind of
I've
like
thought there might
the
be like this repeats of us somewhere else, like doing different things, like all the probabilities coexisting somehow. Um,
but
like
don't
the root
But
starts the same, but it
let me ask
branches
you a
off into
question. Let me
different
ask you a question.
realities.
Sorry for this, but let me ask you a question. You know that feeling when sometimes you live in your, everyday life, and then suddenly you discover something new, either it's a new technology or new information or just, I don't know, a new shop, whatever, and it kind of like changes your whole view. Like you're like, oh my god, like I didn't know that this food existed, or I didn't know that this book existed, or I didn't know this technology existed. Now imagine if there are dimensions we have no idea about, and we're living the life not knowing that there's completely new dimensions which are, running in parallel. They're there, we just
yeah.
don't know how to tap into them. And maybe one day we'll discover that, but like right now we can't, and we're just living our lives kind of like on autopilot. and doing the things, and
No
then
way,
suddenly we'll
bro.
discover that, and it will be completely life changing.
Like
For everyone.
influences,
Yeah.
like other beings living in parallel. Because like if you think of the word dimension, right? The actual word itself, it just means a way to measure a thing, right? So when we're talking about different dimensions, we're talking about different ways of measuring the world. The dimension that we live in is based off our biological and physical structures. That's how we come up with our geometry, our mathematics through our own brains and our biology.
Well,
So
no. What you're saying then is every other creature on Earth is in a different dimension.
exactly, bro.
Because they're not-
Yeah, exactly. That's
They are?
100% true. Yeah, bro. Cats. Sugar.
Yeah.
Cats don't like the
Oh,
taste
cats,
of
I
sugar.
believe.
Yo, cats don't like the taste of
They don't.
sugar. That's a different dimension, a different.
It's because you
It's
brought
a
it in from the
different-
wrong dimension. You have to
a
get the one
different
over there. They
perspective,
got the
you know?
good sugar. You bring it. Yeah, I guess so. But you were saying how maybe we're close together and just don't know it. You could be in one room and there could be somebody in the next room right next to you. And if they're quiet, you'll never know they're there. The same could be for aliens if they're around, maybe in the next galaxy. They would be totally, oblivious. Oblivious, that's not the word.
Oblivious to them, yeah. We
Um,
wouldn't even know that they existed.
Yeah, oblivious to. They wouldn't know we're here, and we wouldn't know they're there unless we're looking, in the right place at the right time. They could be right there, or they could be, like you said, in another dimension. They could be right here,
Yeah.
but in a different dimension.
You know what I think about
So, you never
aliens,
know.
bro? You guys want to know what I think? I put a lot of thought into it, and I read a lot
Yes.
about it. And this is what I think. I don't think there are any aliens. Yeah, I think
Oh
it's
my
just
God,
us.
go away,
Yeah, yeah. Like, I think
Oh
it's
no,
just
Your
human
ego's
beings.
getting too big, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
getting
think-
too
I think the
big.
book
I'm
you
s-
read. I
I'll
think the
hold it
book you
down a
read
little
was
bit.
called "How to Get Depressed and Be Alone."
Yeah, but
Don't
I
read
mean,
this book anymore,
I mean,
man.
like you can kind of like think about it, bro. But like, what if the universe is just ours for the taking? It's like, it's all ours. There's no one to worry about. It's just human
You
beings.
know, you sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's all ours.
or
It's
it's
mine.
It's ours.
The
Or
universe is
It's
mine.
Don't.
That would
Give it
also
to me
mean
now. Give it to me now.
it's our responsibility.
Yeah,
It also
like,
means it's our responsibility to take care of it.
but like,
If it's ours,
have you guys ever
better
heard
start
of,
taking care of it.
Project Bluebeam? There's this like
no,
really.
tell us about that.
Okay, so I didn't really think about it. Like, it's kind of. So the idea is this: that they're basically
beam, which is
preparing. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
No, I
go
just said
ahead.
it's beam, which is blue. I was explaining to him what it is.
Yeah, it's a blue beam.
Blue beam.
Blue
It's in the
because
name.
they're sad.
Exactly.
They're sad beams.
So it kind of, I was thinking about it today. So the whole idea is that they're preparing us for a fake alien invasion in order to bring about a one world
Right.
government. And the way they're going to be doing this is by holograms, by holographic technology. And the way the holographic
Well,
technology
you know what?
is going to be implemented is through satellites that are orbiting the world. Like,
don't know
what does that
about
make
that.
you think of? Starlink. It makes you think of Starlink.
I
mean,
think
I
that
can
ties
tell you
in.
what I think about Starlink. It's freaking working well, man.
Yeah,
We're
I
using it
mean,
in the office
it's a
every
great
day.
technology.
But
But
in terms of one government and stuff, I think yeah, maybe they're trying. The problem is,
Sure. Why do you think all the banks are failing?
Yeah, but
they're
for
having
me, no, I don't.
They
I
want
don't-
federal
yes.
central control.
Yeah, but
of
the,
money.
the problem with this theory is every government in the world has to be on board with that idea,
right.
and I just cannot believe that like because like if you take U.S. and Russia and U.S.
But
and
how about the
China and
EU?
like yeah, but EU is weak. But I mean like I just don't believe that like EU and US and Russia, while fighting all these economic and real wars, can actually agree on something that tremendously huge. They can't even agree on like proper coexistence together. And you want me to tell?
Well, maybe
to
just
believe
certain ones.
yeah,
Maybe just
but
China
okay,
and Russia and
How
somebody else.
about the
no,
UN?
but I don't. I think
The
it's more of
UN.
but even if it's just certain ones, then it will never be able to. So I think that's what happens right now. I think what right now is happening, like if we talk about the war, right, in Ukraine and stuff, it's more of a war between the dominance of the West and the dominance of the East. And I think the kind of the weight is changing, and because the weight is changing, whenever there is like a big change in titanic like moves and plates, that's when the friction starts to happen, and that's why the war exists, because when the regime changes, you know what I mean? Like it used to be a long time, the West regime was the dominant one, from the army perspective, from the money perspective, but now we can see that the cracks are coming, and the more cracks are coming, the more regimes are changing, you know, and
So
yeah,
who's
I just think
changing
that
the
this is now
regimes,
the things
man?
are changing.
I think like
What?
Yeah.
like there's this idea that every single war is a banker war. World War One, banker war. World War Two, banker war. Like you know, even think of
Yeah, but
the
it's
Gulf
yeah, but
War, the
so
Iraq
China is
War,
not on board with US to
Vietnam.
make one world government, like for sure. I just don't believe that's the
No,
case.
they're
I
just going to
mean,
get
I
rid
just
of
don't.
this.
I mean, they've already got Biden in their back pocket. Like,
Yeah,
you know
okay,
what I
but
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
again,
they
I
got
don't believe
TikTok
that.
in the
I don't.
U.S.
Sure, but I don't believe that this is like. I don't think that there will be like one. It's just too much things to align. Like I definitely believe
But
there's like World Economic Forum and other
Yeah,
institutions.
what's up with that?
They want to have that. They want to have that kind of like a universal government. Maybe some people, you know, it's not from the bad perspective. It's just they believe that it will be more efficient system. But again, you need to have all countries on board. And by countries, I mean you need to have China, you need to have India, you need to have like Russia, you need to have US. And these countries just cannot agree on like basic stuff, and we want them to agree on one world order. I don't think so. It's very hard, very hard.
it's like what was happening in the U.S. back in the 70s when they had that
Yeah,
so-called
bro, it's
oil
exactly just
shortage.
like that,
Remember
bro.
that?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
70s
All the
over
little
again.
gas stations, all the Sinclairs, the Citcos, all the little gas stations had to go out of business because they couldn't get
And
enough
the
oil,
president
couldn't
was
get
a
enough gasoline.
doofus. Who did they have?
And the
Aaron
big
Carter,
giant
wasn't it?
companies, they somehow um, immaculously, remo- they survived. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
miraculously.
It's
Thank
the
you.
70s. It's like
They
if you look
miraculously
at it,
survived.
it's
And so
exactly like
that's
the
what's going on
70s,
now.
man.
This country doesn't matter. This one doesn't matter. That's this one. We might not matter to them. That's the scary part. Maybe U.S. can just be sacrificed to get this giant corporation going, this central control, this worldwide, world new order that they want so badly. We think we're going to be part of the party, but maybe not. Maybe they've just decided that, okay, we're going to have China and Russia and India and maybe a few others, and the rest of them, who cares? We can survive without them. Let's just crash it all. Let's just crash it all. They can fall. They can do whatever they want.
Burn it all
History
down.
Burn it
is
down.
kind of repeating itself. Like there's always an empire, and eventually they, you know, print too much money, and all the
Yeah.
wealthy
Yes, correct.
people
It's
start
very pragmatic.
put
Correct.
they start putting their money overseas, right? So that starts messing with our
Yep.
the economy,
Yep.
and you know they pretend they have power as long as they can, and then when they start putting more restrictions on where you're allowed to put your money, that's when you know the country's about to fail, and there will probably be a war, and then the power will change.
100%. And war is already
Right,
happening.
like-
That's the point. The war is already there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
They
it's
just
in
have to
Ukraine.
crank it
It's
up a
there.
little
They're
bit.
just fighting with tens of Ukrainians. They're just fighting the war for whatever. You know, who is dominant. And that's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's so sad. As being, as you know, as Ukrainian to watch this happening, it's just
tough.
very sad to me.
It
But yeah, the
is.
wars are
It's
in the
just
world. I mean, it's not the
constant.
only one war, right? The wars are happening in different zones in the world right now. So that's what's happening. And as I said earlier, yeah, I mean, the empires are failing, and it's like, and the funny part is, which is not funny actually, but the funny part is, the history repeats itself all the time, every time. And I'm like, can we learn something from that? Like, can we?
Yeah, you
Can we
think
be
so,
smarter
wouldn't
than that? Like, at least one time.
It's like
can
in
we
our
just
think it's like a
genes, like we can't
strategy.
even
You know,
fight
That's what I was
our
saying at the
genes or
beginning of the show.
something.
It's in our
You're right, Woofer.
it's in our genes. We're just
Full
we're just
circle.
screwed up, and then it's a constant fight to do better. We're trying to do
and then
better,
central
but
banks will bail us out. Bam,
Yeah.
we can screw it up
Yeah,
as much
that's
as
right.
we want.
We're
And
gonna-
central bank
we're gonna
will
get
be
a
like, here we go,
bailout and-
new money, no problem.
we
I
can
mean,
go to
honestly, with
cryptocurrencies.
this pace, they will
which
soon
is
run out
also
of paper. I
disappearing.
mean, and ink, because like how much money they can print.
Yeah, they're gonna run
They're
out
trying
of
to
That's
track
why they
down
want a
crypto,
digital
too.
money.
They're gonna run out of
That's why they
trees
want a
now.
digital money, because in the past it was a gold standard, and then they said, wait a second, it's too much gold. We need to keep it in the bank. And then they said, okay, let's just make it paper money. Then they made it paper money, and then they started to print it so much. They said, oh, wait, actually, we're running out of paper. We need to make it fully digital because we cannot print it anymore. It's
What
too
are
Yeah,
much
they,
but you know
printing.
what?
CBDCs or
It's
something?
going to be one.
Yeah, of
it's going to
course.
be one digital
CBDC,
currency.
Of
There's
course.
one centralized, federally controlled totally
Yeah, but
controlled
I'm sorry.
digital
When you say
currency.
federally controlled, which federally controlled?
Uh-huh.
Because I think Mr.
Who knows? The
Xi
club, the
Jinping
big
will say,
club.
actually, I don't want Fed to control my money, and Putin will say, yeah, okay, but I don't want you to control either. Like someone needs to decide who is the. I don't think it will be one currency, but I think there will be many big currencies.
You know what I
And
think,
of
bro?
course, that's an
Yeah,
ugly thing to have.
possibly, yeah.
Man, we're gonna have this constant left versus right, east versus west. You know, you're gonna have China, Russia, then you're gonna have America and Canada, and they're gonna always pretend to hate each other and always kind of like be in this war, just like in that book 1984.
But you
I
know
mean,
the truth?
you
People
see it
love
now.
each
It's
other.
like
Yeah,
people,
normal
people
human
Yeah.
beings
we
love
love each other. We want to
Well,
be friends. Like people
It's
want to be
it's
friends.
propaganda. Like really
Of
left and
course.
right is the same exact person.
Yeah,
Where what
they want
really
the
is the
same
problem
thing,
is like
right?
yeah,
it's like
it's just the people, the have and have nots. That's the real separation. So
yeah.
if
What
all
what
the
do people want?
have
People
nots
generally
come
get along, I
together,
think.
Of
you
course they
know,
do.
and
Of course.
we have enough to keep each other sustained, and as long as we communicate and don't let
Yeah,
them
I mean,
turn us
what
against each other.
what do people
Yeah.
want? They need
Yeah.
food, security, and good life in terms of social interactions and stuff like that.
Pursuit of
That's
happiness,
it.
you
It's
know?
not that difficult,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
It's
like
not that difficult. And
But when they
every
take it
government
away,
today but every
But
government
why? Why
today
do they want
should
to
and
take it
is
away? Why
able
is it
to
always
to control
about
you.
power and
If you're
control
if you're
and,
hungry,
like
if you're hungry and broke,
You,
you'll
you
do
remember?
anything.
Wait, I'm
You'll get
sorry.
in
You
line.
remember COVID? And yes, I'm saying COVID on YouTube. You can freaking
Yeah,
ban us if you
there you
want.
go.
But like, do you remember COVID when they
That
were
was a little
telling us to
test
stay?
case
When,
there.
yeah, but they were telling us to stay at home while they were partying in the bars and
yeah,
restaurants.
I,
Elites.
yeah,
Like how hypocritic is this?
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it's
and I
absolutely
remember
crazy.
like the thing that freaked me out the most is like during the COVID time, bro, stores wouldn't accept cash anymore. They were just about, oh, we don't accept cash. You have to use card. And that was so
tried that.
freaky. Yeah, they tried to,
You know, what
to
what
push
did that
out.
what did that have to do with COVID?
They're like, I
How
don't
did
know.
that
Like, I
happen?
don't know. It's like an airborne thing. I don't know
Like,
what like physical touching
you're gonna
money,
get COVID from your dollar bills you're handling, or
Yeah, and it's
what
just-
did they
Yeah,
think?
sorry,
What was
they
the
were saying
logic?
so many misinformation. Did anyone apologize actually
No,
for that?
yeah.
Nobody
And
apologized.
they're
told.
still trying
They
to
kept
push
two,
the
2 years people in freaking homes. They didn't let us eat in restaurants. Go like kids were
Yeah.
not able to
Oh,
go to
that's
gym
true.
and
Fired
stuff.
fired
Did
people from their
anyone
Americans were
actually
always allowed
apologize?
to do, where we were allowed to do whatever we wanted, like the whole time.
yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Like we did have to wear
Basically,
masks,
as
but
long as
like
you
we
don't.
could do whatever we wanted, and we didn't have to wear masks like everywhere. It wasn't 100%.
Yeah,
of
the
course.
masks were such a scam.
Yeah, but
We're
New
on
York
the-
was
we're on
very
the-
strict. No.
Yeah.
Not every state. Not every state.
We
in
didn't have
US,
any restrictions
from
in
one
Ohio
state
at
to each
all.
other.
It's different.
Yeah, exactly. But it was changing from like in New York. It was crazy. You were
Yeah.
not able
Oh,
to go to
yeah.
restaurant without like the COVID pass.
No
So
way.
that was
that's
horrible in
crazy.
many states.
And they
My
kept
friend
people
went
from
there.
working.
I did a video. She broke through like the Kelsey Davies. She did a video like breaking into the closed off area. It was crazy.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, New York. I mean, like, it's like.
Yeah, but and
it's-
where's COVID today? Everybody admitted, okay, it was just a flu.
Yeah, it just disappeared,
Just
didn't
a
it?
flu. Yeah, it's
It's
just a
just-
normal
it was a
flu.
normal
Don't worry
flu.
about it.
Okay,
It's-
yeah, okay, it was there, not anymore. Like nobody cares anymore. Oh, you have
Yeah.
COVID. Doesn't
COVID
matter. You
COVID really
don't even need to go
affected my family. Like I lost a lot of people in my life because of
Yeah.
COVID who wouldn't otherwise have died. So like it wasn't like completely nothing.
Oh no,
But,
it wasn't
Of
made
course.
up.
Yeah, I
And
mean, it was.
what
Yeah,
I-
it
no,
was
no,
designed
what I say
for a
is
specific
for
age group.
for healthy people who didn't have conditions before, it was basically the same as flu. Those who had conditions, they could have made more precautions. They could have, they should have stayed more safe for sure. But
I mean,
like for a
it was
young
bad, it
person,
killed.
for children, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Like why they didn't let them go
May-
to school, like I just don't know. Like
Maybe COVID
it's-
was designed to take advantage of our weaknesses. Like if we have a
I mean, yeah,
predilection
that's
for some.
exactly it. Like I feel like they really did know that it was like they were trying to be as, of course, they're always gonna overreach. I think that they knew it was like a designed biological probable weapon. So they were trying to keep us as safe as humanly possible. Like I really believe that. Like I don't believe every single person had like villainous evil intentions with
Yeah.
it. It just like got out of hand, obviously,
It's
and
just
it's really
officials.
sad.
Yeah, just the
But,
bureaucrats.
Nothing
I
that's
mean,
that
it
made any
is from a
sense though.
lab,
Is
right?
just,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Like,
think
isn't
so.
that
Of course, and of
concluded?
course we
now
know
it's
from
like
the lab, and
now
we
That was
know
the
it
first
for
story
2
I
years,
heard.
but
Yeah.
not some people are realizing it just now.
Crazy
Yeah, of course it
times.
was
I
from the
mean,
lab.
I think what it was that I think it was a virus designed to kill 100%.
I can't
You know,
wait for
just
YouTube
but
to put the warning under our video saying please
yeah.
refer to World
Oh,
Health
sorry
Organization
about
for
that,
more
guys.
information about COVID.
I can't
No,
see
no, it's
that.
all good. I don't care. I mean, it's all good, but it will be funny
But
to
I
watch
think
this. Like you say COVID,
I
boom,
think it got out.
automatically.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, it got out a little ahead of time. It wasn't perfected yet, you know. So it was deadly, but not quite as deadly as they
Not
wanted
that
it to
deadly,
be.
yeah, not that deadly.
Yeah, not totally deadly for
Now we can
everybody.
finally eat bats again. Yay!
Yeah,
Yeah.
barbecue bats.
Let's go.
Woo.
Bad
Yum.
things. They're like,
Bats.
oh my god. You know, they have this like Indian accent, like Indian Chinese accent. So that's like, oh my god, they're coming for us. Oh my god.
Not
Oh
these,
no.
not them
Oh
again.
no.
Get out of here,
Have you
fly,
guys
fly,
seen
fly.
RRR?
The
The
squirrels are
movie?
going.
What's that?
It's so good. It's it's this Indian like Bollywood movie that just came out. I just watched it yesterday. It's amazing. It's like
RRR.
the best special effects and fight
Yeah.
scenes ever.
Oh wow.
It reminds me of like
Bollywood
Crouching
fight
Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay.
No way.
Well,
You
every
know,
Bollywood
like with the
movie I
flying
remember,
and
the
stuff.
fight scenes were ridiculous. So if you say there's special effects already, I mean,
The
like,
guy
wow,
with-
that's
with a
already
mustache.
that's already news for me. That's already news for me. Exactly. It's
I
like
No,
like
but
ridiculous.
you know, the
fight
art
scenes.
was beautiful. It's like amazing.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Huh.
Okay. Okay.
RRR, it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing. It's really, really violent, so I don't think
Cool.
kids can really
I'm totally
watch
gonna
it,
watch
but
it.
like
I love those
it's
kind of movies.
it's
By the
funny
way,
good. It's a
I
musical.
No
Well,
way.
some
a musical.
He's
one, of my,
dancing.
one of my piece of advice to you guys. Piece of advice to you guys. If I switch from aliens, okay, because aliens will not feel the problems of bankruptcies, okay, because they're
Okay.
somewhere differently. But what my advice to you is, I believe that crypto has a massive use case as a counterweight to banking system and like centralized stuff. But before crypto will emerge as the absolute viable solution for many people who understand it finally, the whole thing, if banking system goes down, the governments will try to get crypto together with it. So what I'm saying is crypto, I totally believe in like Ethereum and Bitcoin and things like that. These are decentralized stuff, but before it will shine, there will be a massive takedown on everything, and the price drops, and like, you know, there's a lot of questionable assets like USDT and blah blah blah, and I think they were like kind of created to pump the system with like fake money to then be able to just take it down as fast as possible when it's needed. And I think we're kind of 2023 is the year of, you know, the whole system just collapsing like a house of cards. And be ready. Like, again, I'm in the blockchain like for the long term. I believe in the technology. As far as I know today, this is the best decentralized technology we have. Maybe again someday will be a better one, but for sure, it's the safest way how to preserve at least some of your, I don't even say value. It's ownership. Preserve your ownership. Like, you have the ownership, because in the bank you have zero ownership.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's just zero.
Yeah.
And that we just saw it. So yeah, so I'm just saying, like, my thing is, think about it. Don't think that it's like, if banks will collapse, don't think that crypto automatically will all go up. No, I think there will be much pain ahead in 2023, and only then maybe we'll see some emerging things happening. But yeah, just as again, not the financial advice, but who knows. I mean, Credit Suisse almost bankrupt today.
That's so
$1.2
crazy,
trillion
bro.
bank.
Credit
Nice.
Suisse,
I
bro.
mean, that's
Like,
pretty awesome
it's
in terms of
a
like,
well-known.
like, it's surreal, honestly. Like, what, Credit Suisse
Yeah.
going bankrupt? Like, okay, Silicon Valley Bank is one thing,
Yeah,
but
but
Credit
Credit
Suisse, if
Suisse-
Credit Suisse goes bankrupt tomorrow, the problem is
that's
government said, we'll
strange.
bail you out, no problem, we'll give you the money. But tomorrow there will be another HSBC bank saying,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
we also need money. They were like, wait a second, we don't have any more money.
Oh my
We just
god.
gave it
Where's
to
the
Credit
money
Suisse.
coming from?
Yeah,
Another
think of what
bank?
happens, bro. I'm telling you, HSBC, bro. That is a shady bank. You know, if there's one bank that like, it's the Chinese bank.
I have a.
Isn't it the
I
Bank
have,
of China, bro?
I I have something to tell you, man. They're all shady.
Yeah, I mean HSBC,
That's
you
it.
could like literally like go anywhere in the world and access. It was kind of
No, but it's a
ridiculous.
Hong
Like,
Kong. No, it's not Chinese. It's a Hong Kong bank.
yeah, I mean it was
But
pretty.
it was run by not by Chinese government. It was run by I think by London, like more of a Western, but in Hong Kong. You understand? It's more. It was
Oh,
controlled by the Western.
Hmm.
It's not the because Chinese. Okay, where would you keep the money in general? Like I think in general,
In your
if you
sock.
look at the size of the economies right now and the strengths of the economies, if like which country is producing more goods, which country is actually having more resources, natural resources,
China
like in
wins, right?
general, I was like Chinese banks are more safer than US banks today. Like I'm just saying,
I think
like
so
Hmm.
too.
economically wise, if I look at it, it's the truth. It's the truth. And yeah, I mean, you have to think about it. Like how much China controls the natural resources. Where do they get natural resources? What are they paying for those natural resources? Like those things matter. You know, in the end of the day, things are
hmm,
made of things. And you need things to build things.
yeah,
You need food, you know, you need energy, you need
That's why
people,
you're
you need
doing
everything.
bro.
so amazingly ultra with your family. Like what you guys are doing, that is like
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
Yeah, the
That's good.
farming and stuff,
amazing.
it's
Like
pretty
that
weird,
is
honestly.
goals, dude. That's what I want to do so badly. Like I
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
that's just like ultimate value and like just life goals, seriously.
Yeah, it's
I
really
wanted to
nice.
add one more thing.
Yeah,
One more thing about COVID. Like Ollie was saying, I don't think any of us believe it wasn't real because I lost some people too. It was a terrible. It's a terrible disease. It
yeah.
was
I had
real,
family
but
members
we're
that
just
died as
saying
well
that
from it.
people tried to control the situation. I think and take advantage of it in every way they could, and so we
Yeah.
had all this misinformation and nobody knew what was going on. They'd say one thing one day and they'd say another thing the other day, and
Whoa.
it's just a
I
mess.
You
think the
know,
most important thing, like the most telling thing is, sorry,
no, no, no,
go ahead,
go. No,
Ultra.
no, no, please, please, go ahead.
Okay, when you're watching the news, like all you have to do when you're watching anything on TV, just like watch the commercials because those are the
Hmm.
people who are choosing what you're watching.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's like a
true.
known fact. Like there's so many
Sponsored by
actors
Pfizer.
and
Yeah,
writers who
Yeah,
Oscars,
say that.
Pfizer.
bro, the
Here,
Yeah,
here
Oscars.
comes
and it
CNN
doesn't
by
mean every
Pfizer.
single person at Pfizer is evil because I have friends that are scientists and they work for those companies and they're like really good, genuinely awesome people who are trying to do research to help, fight disease and like,
Yeah.
they're brilliant and amazing people. But, it's just like the mass, you know, mob mentality, right? It's just like we could have all the best intentions and still hurt each other, you know?
Yeah,
It's
I
human
think,
error,
And
right?
I think one thing, like a concept, is like that we've lost is like this like idea of like the devil and evil. That there is evil. That the devil does exist. You know, like there's something you're fighting against. You know, you're like you're constantly trying to be good. You know, I mean that when you look.
And I think that like the devil doesn't think that they're the devil, you know? Like they
they think
think
they're
that
good
they're
too.
Yeah, they
doing
think they're
good.
right.
Like
Exactly. They
that's the
think they're in the
problem.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Like when
yeah.
you question yourself and you like admit you acknowledge your darkness, you face it and you channel it, like you were talking about anger earlier, Ultra, like all of us have these base emotions and it's the people who suppress these things and that, you know, that's where the monster is created.
Wow. Yeah.
Collectively, if
Hmm.
we don't face our anger and we don't face our prejudices and, that's when we
It's
hurt each other.
yeah.
Do you realize how like lucky we are that we have ourselves here, like that we
Yeah.
know each other and
Yeah.
we
So
can,
grateful.
express these things and we can meet
Yeah.
here and stuff. Like these things are important. Like we already today, again, it's much more important than many people realize. And yeah, I'm kind of honored
Yeah.
that we're here and we know each other.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah, me
giving us a
too.
place to
Thank you.
speak.
And thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
Thank you
And
guys
exchange
for being so
ideas.
amazing. Like all of you are just like you guys are so awesome. Love you guys. And bro, you made me think right now. You know how like
okay, he thinks again. Oh my god.
yeah, okay, bro,
Oh.
bro. Before World War II, right? Who was
Okay.
like who was the the dominant power in the world. It was Europe, right? It was Europe, right? And then what happened after World War II? Europe was destroyed. They lacked the capacity to create goods. Who became the main economic producer in the world? The United States. The United States then became the world economic power. Now, if a war happens and stuff, and China becomes the main
we're out of
producer
luck
of
now.
goods, then you know what I mean? That's just the cycle of things. Like,
Would,
Yeah, but I
would
don't
they
think
treat
it's
us?
like I don't.
Would they treat us as good as we treated them?
bro, Chinese are
It's
racist. I
so
mean, no, I
funny.
love Chinese
Oh,
people.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did we treat Chinese well? Are you sure? You're sure what you're talking about?
I mean,
I,
our
d-
country was
I
like
don't, I don't think
railroad.
UK, like if you ask Chinese how they think about UK, how well they treated
Yeah.
them, I don't think they will you'll like what you'll
I'm
hear,
a
man.
Yeah, exactly. The
American, I
opium
don't
war,
know about
bro.
that.
It's like a.
Exactly.
It's
I
like
mean, can
so
you imagine
burnt
how
into them.
devastated China was
Yeah,
from like opium
imagine an
and
entire-
on purpose?
Yeah.
Can you realize what West did to China on
Yeah,
purpose?
that-
Like it's
that's-
horrible,
it's
actually.
really
If you look
horrible.
at the history, it was very bad. Like
Okay,
it's.
I take that
I don't. I
back
don't like.
then.
I don't like when like someone tries to revenge, but China can always tell you like, don't try to tell me who is bad and good here because like look at the history and then you just realize it yourself. So at least don't judge me, okay? That's what they tell. Like who are you to judge me about like wars if US is starting most of the wars in the world? Like who are you to judge me? You know, that's what
Yeah.
China will tell you.
Yeah.
Like China will
Yeah,
say,
but
hey,
Where did China get all their technology and all of their ideas? They haven't invented anything since gunpowder. They took
What?
all of our technology.
Not really,
That's
man.
not
The
true.
Chinese have
What?
they're
Okay,
just
what?
like, you know, I mean, sure, they don't have a
What did-
semiconductor chip capacity,
own.
but I mean, they do have one of
Yeah.
the best drone industries in the world. You know, they're
no,
they
but
do
one
now.
second. We live in the world which is interconnected, okay? When you say that
Yes.
US invented most of the things, do you understand that in US 80% of people who run the startups and companies are actually foreigners?
yeah.
Do you know that
True,
like best
sure.
mathematicians and AI stuff are like
Yeah.
even actually coming from like former Soviet Union because they had the best school in mathematics? Like I'm just saying like
Okay.
yes, they
Yeah.
live in US today and they invented there, but it doesn't mean that it's like made by like all it's a global
I know.
effort.
It is.
And for me,
Okay.
like, okay, you can have a bicycle and then you can invent the bicycle, but the other guy will take that wheel and invent a car. Now, do you say that the guy stolen the bicycle idea and invented the car? No, he just
Yeah.
pushed it forward. And if I see what again, I'm not like trying to protect or something, but I'm just looking in a very pragmatic way
Yeah.
at the world,
Yeah.
and I'm saying that the invention weights are actually right now on the Chinese part. They invent more technology than what we invent in the West right now. It's happening. Like look at the cars, look at the drones, look at the mobile phones, look at the industry of like semiconductors even. Like I mean you
But
say they
that's-
don't own the
they didn't
Yeah,
semiconductors,
invent-
they're
but
not that strong.
in
They
Taiwan,
didn't
who
invent
knows?
the
You know,
phone.
Taiwan,
like that's
yeah,
another
I mean-
They
question.
didn't invent the phone. They didn't invent the car.
They think they do
They
so.
didn't invent
I'm
the
just saying. they treat it as they do. So
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm just saying like this is yeah, we can't say like yeah, US is amazing in innovation, absolutely, but so as China. Like they
I'm
are.
not saying just the U.S. No. Yeah.
But saying that China didn't invent anything from the gunpowder is like I don't know.
I mean, they invented like
Well,
tea, right? I mean, that's.
I
I'm
mean,
saying
I know what we invented
It
in West
wasn't
in
original
the last
ideas.
10 years. I think 55 more genders. Maybe that's
Yeah.
the biggest invention.
that's
you
a
know,
good one.
like that's and we're laughing at it, but it's like they're laughing at it too.
Yeah.
So so that's kind
I
of
think
yeah, it's
everybody's
ridiculous.
laughing at us right now.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Unfortunately.
And
It's
we
a
should
real
we should be
shame.
smarter than that. We should be we should all cooperate. Like people should actually like can you imagine if all these countries in the world were just cooperating for the good of planet? We would be in paradise. Like it would be
yeah.
constant paradise. We'll just live in paradise because everything would be fine. We can solve all the problems of the world tomorrow if just governments work together. Like if people of
It's
nations
all the
will work
money they
together.
waste too. I mean, if all the money they waste and give away, they could afford to. Everyone in the country or everyone in every country could have a new house or new car.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
Everything.
kind of
Anything
like
you need.
You know, I mean, what's the point if you don't work towards it, creating value?
Yeah.
You
You know
still
what I
work,
mean?
but you
Like,
can afford stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
without
that's what I mean. You
inflation.
can
Yo,
afford that.
remember when like a man could work as a truck driver and support a wife and kids? Wait, how long was
Sure.
that ago? The 50s? Remember those days where you could buy like
Yeah.
you could go into like a grocery store and buy like 100 things for like $10? That's
Yeah. You could
inflation,
buy
you know?
a car for cheap. I think our house, if I'm not mistaken, cost like $10,000 or something like that. It was a
Wow,
excuse me,
the
brand
system is
new house.
designed to be destroyed. I mean, the system is actually
Yeah.
designed to be destroyed. I mean, if inflation keeps on continuing like this, where's the end? At the end of the day, it's going to become cash becomes completely like because it's not going to go down. Inflation's never going to go down. You're never going to get prices that were like back then. So the whole system itself
Huh.
is designed to eventually crack and break and collapse. Oh my god.
Like, how much did they say they were spending in Venezuela for, like, they get $9 a month or something like that?
Yeah.
Santiago
That's
was
the
telling us.
average wage,
Not-
yeah.
Average wage $9 in a month. God, and then with the way everything's going up too.
Yeah, and
I don't get it.
like, you know, this whole idea of aliens coming to save the planet, you know? I don't think, you know, it's just us. It's just, you know,
I
it's,
think they're just cruising around laughing at us too. The Chinese got it right. These guys are nuts. Let's get out of here. It's boring.
I was just watching the documentary, and the pace of like it's incredible. Like Chinese 10 years ago, I think they were launching one rocket per year, or like 15 years ago, I don't remember. Then 10 years ago, so let's say 15 years ago, it's one rocket per year. 10 years ago, it was one rocket every month. Today, they're launching like rockets almost on a weekly basis. Like,
Yeah.
damn,
God,
that's a lot.
That costs a lot of money.
yeah.
That's a lot.
Weather
Like, I mean,
balloons in
Musk is doing the
US
same
and-
basically. Musk is launching rockets all the time, and
North
and
Korea.
yeah, I mean, Starlink is getting better. Like, it's incredibly faster now and reliable. Like, we use it in the
Yeah.
office, and I just see how better progresses, like how it progresses all the time. The ping on Starlink right now, it's like 50 milliseconds. 50.
No way.
It's
That's
nothing.
amazing, bro.
Yeah, I can do VR, no problem. No, you will not even recognize that I'm from Starlink.
So
It's a satellite internet.
I thought the more people that get a Starlink, the more congested the network becomes. the
No,
slower-
because he launches satellites all the time.
Oh.
He launches
Oh my
hundreds
God.
of satellites every time. Every month, there's new satellites coming in.
You know, there's so much junk in space that's crashing into each other now. I mean,
No, they have
it's getting
these new satellites. Actually,
traffic
they have
jam.
propulsion. The new satellites they have propulsion, so they can correct
Yeah, they can
themselves
move
out of the
way.
orbit, and then
Wow.
deorbit, and then the new ones are coming. So they thought about it. Like it's a pretty
Yeah.
smart system.
I mean, yeah, it's like
so
frictionless, right? I mean, one of the things
To the
about
right, to the
sending
right.
a signal
to the left.
is the friction. So if you have like, you know what I mean? Like I'm telling, like Starlink is gonna change everything. Everything is gonna change because of it. Because then you can have things way faster. You can have like the financial.
I mean, it's
in
progress. I mean, he's
industry
doing it because he needs internet on Mars, so he needs to build this like relay system to Mars, because that's his own, that's his goal. But meanwhile, he'll earn a lot of money by selling this service. Like it's pretty smart.
Maybe he
business
knows
model,
the
honestly.
people on Mars. They're hooking him up. They're going, "Come on, Elon, get. We need some tourists. If we
Exactly,
can hook you up,
exactly.
we get some tourists coming in here. You know that
They were
there's
like,
some
hey,
money
hey,
for
they were like,
that."
The aliens
can
were like,
help.
"Hey, come on, Elon, come on, Elon. I like your Teslas. Can you send me one, man? Come on, bro.
Yeah,
I wanna
yeah.
buy it. Like,
Little-
give me. I'm
I'll
here. Here's
give
the
you a
money,
little
man.
and you
Send me
give
one
me a
Tesla."
little,
He's like,
uh,
okay. And he sent it to into
It's
the
like
space. We all
a
think it's in
million
the space,
Doge.
but it's already on Mars. Exactly. It's
It was
like, I
like,
give you
Doge.
the, he's like, okay, I'm sending. It's like, I was mining Doge here on Mars. All these dies, man. Come
Yeah,
on, send me the
crazy
Tesla. Send me the
Elon
Tesla.
Musk pumping and dumping Doge and like that. You don't know nobody talks about that. He's completely.
know.
Anyway,
crazy
I need to
about
leave
that.
right now because I need to finish some stuff still.
Do it up,
I
bro,
love
do
you,
it up.
everyone.
Thank you for
bro.
coming.
Thanks for coming, Arthur.
Thank you for being here. It was
Yeah,
a great
cool.
discussion.
Love you, bro.
And, the discussions is what makes us people and us
Yeah.
smarter.
Yeah.
So I feel smarter. I just feel
I feel
smarter.
dumber.
I don't know.
And life is
Damn it.
awesome.
Okay, then I
We
sunk
just
all the
enjoy
all
what
the
we
smartness
have.
from you. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's good to discuss
Anyone else
things.
feels
I mean,
dumber?
I say what
The future's bright. The future's bright.
Yeah,
We just
the
need to keep
future's
believing
bright.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And we
yeah.
have each
We-
Not
other.
only
This
believing
moment
it,
is
we,
all
we
that's
keep
real.
building it. We keep building
build
it.
it,
Nobody else will
exactly,
build it
yeah.
for us. We have to build it
We
ourselves.
have
Group
to build
hug,
the
group
parallel
hug.
system.
We
Group
have way
hug.
more power.
Yay.
People who seem to have
Yay.
power don't have as much power as you think.
Yeah.
People power.
People
Every
power,
person
that's
has
Yeah,
what
power.
it
people
is.
power.
Yeah, human
Exactly.
beings
Yes.
are like the incarnation
People
of God.
power.
on Earth.
This short is PP. Don't forget to do that too. All right.
PP.
See you all, everybody.
Okay. Bye. Don't
Bye.
forget to do that.
Thank you, wonderful viewers of the internet, for tuning in to the Somnium Show with the best people on the internet. The Somnium Show. Stay tuned for next week's episode, where we'll be discussing some phantasmical, philosophical, and orgasmical new things that are happening right here, right now in our world and in cyberspace. So stay tuned, everyone, for next week. We love you. Hope you have a wonderful night, wonderful morning,
Come
and a
back
great afternoon.
Bring your friends.
Woo, the Somnium Show.
Yay. Boy, we really went off on some tangents.